I still have no understanding why digital audio player manufacturers do not have podcasting functionality. None of them that I can find have podcasting functionality unless you get one of the larger dApps that has a full version of Android on it where you can access the Google Play Store and then download Spotify or some other podcast app. Maybe I'm crazy because I'm not an app coder, but it seems like basic podcast playback functionality would be pretty simple to set up. First off, have a folder titled Podcasts, and then say any MP3 or M4A file within this folder treat as a podcast. And then here are a list of the criteria or the commands or the rules for those files. The most basic would be save the playback location of each podcast file when clicking around, add skip 15 seconds forward or backwards, and then start playback from the last playback location or from the beginning. Whenever you start a podcast, give that option. And that's really all that you need. You don't need any crazy functions there. Just a couple of rules. Yet none of these dApp manufacturers care about that. None of them have rolled it out, and it has been driving me crazy. I got my first dApp back in 2018. It was a FIO, one of those. Then I don't remember the other one that I got in 2020. And then last year, I got this Shanling because it is tiny. It's the M0. It's the size of one of those old iPod Nanos. The headphone amp is great. There is no hiss on my Dunu SA6 IEMs. So that's why I got this. It's easy to fit in my pocket when I'm walking around. And the headphone amp doesn't introduce any unnecessary noise when I'm listening with IEMs. But Shanling, FIO, none of the dApp manufacturers have podcast playback, and I've emailed all three of them that I have and said, hey, can you roll out podcast functionality? And they've just said, you can buy one of our larger dApps with Android, and then you could download Spotify. I don't want to do that. I want this tiny little dApp that has music and then has podcasting. I don't want to have to set up the SanDisk. I don't want to have to charge it every day. I don't want to have to transfer files to that as well. I just want a single dApp. And the Shanling works well for me. This seems like an ad. No, it's not an ad. They won't roll out podcasting functionality, so don't buy it. Don't buy their gear. Don't buy their dApps until they do it. This is a boycott. I'm not saying boycott anybody. Just please, Shanling, FIO, the other one that I can't remember. It's sitting on my desk out there. I can't remember what they're called. But this is a plea. If you are a dApp manufacturer, if you roll out a digital audio player that is small, that has a good headphone amp, that has decent battery life, and you have podcast functionality, basic podcast functionality, and you support it, and you roll out updates, I will give you my money. I have been waiting 6 years for any of them to do it. None of them will do it. What the heck? I'm going to have to bust out my old iPod Touch. It's stupid. Get with the times. Podcasts are important. That is my rant. Listen to me. I want to give you my money, but you clearly don't want it. That is it for that rant.